Sometimes the most revealing moments of an NFL offseason are the quiet ones. The Dallas Cowboys granting real autonomy to a new defensive coordinator is one of those moments. On paper, allowing assistants to explore other opportunities seems routine. Across the league, this would barely register as news. In Dallas, however, nothing about this is routine. This organization has long been defined by control and continuity. Change has often come with invisible conditions attached. That is why this development carries real weight. Reports confirmed that defensive assistants from the previous regime were cleared to interview elsewhere. They were also told they could speak directly with the new defensive coordinator. This wasn't framed as a courtesy gesture. It was a recognition of authority. For years, Cowboys coordinators inherited staffs they did not choose. They adapted instead of reshaping. That pattern limited innovation and accountability. This move quietly breaks that cycle. The decision may appear harmless to outside observers, but context changes everything in Dallas. Past coordinators often arrived with front office relationships already in place. Those relationships shaped hiring decisions. Autonomy was the exception, not the rule. Football decisions were rarely isolated from politics. That reality has defined multiple eras. This moment suggests a different approach. This is not about praising the organization prematurely. It is about acknowledging something genuinely unfamiliar. The Cowboys are allowing a coordinator to operate freely. They are stepping back instead of hovering. For a franchise resistant to disruption, that matters. Whether intentional or overdue, it is notable. It represents a philosophical pause, and possibly the start of something new. Why this breaks with Cowboys history? To understand why this matters, history must be acknowledged. Previous defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus was not hired in isolation. His selection was influenced by established relationships within the building. That has been a recurring theme for the Cowboys. Familiarity has often outweighed experimentation. Comfort has frequently beaten curiosity. This has shaped staffing decisions for decades and limited outside perspectives. The Cowboys have long preferred continuity over disruption. They have retained coaches across regime changes. They once hired an offensive coordinator before selecting a head coach. They have trusted internal comfort over external evolution. These choices created stability. They also created stagnation at times. Innovation often arrived late, and usually under pressure. Against that backdrop, the trust placed in Christian Parker is striking. At 34, he is the youngest defensive coordinator in franchise history. He has no prior ties to the Cowboys organization. There is no legacy relationship to lean on. There is no historical obligation to honor. This is a clean slate appointment. That alone is rare in Dallas. The autonomy makes it even rarer. Some fans view this as nothing worth celebrating. They argue this is normal behavior elsewhere. They are not wrong. But the Cowboys do not operate like other franchises. Normal has never been their baseline. This organization moves differently, which is why this moment stands out. It represents a deviation from tradition, consequences, accountability, and what comes next. The real significance is not who leaves the staff. It is who now owns the results. Autonomy creates clarity. Success can no longer be diffused. Failure can no longer be redirected. If the defense thrives, the vision worked. If it collapses, responsibility is clear. That alone changes internal dynamics. This also signals a possible organizational reckoning. With previous leadership moving on, reflection becomes unavoidable. The former head coach now joins the Pittsburgh Steelers. That chapter is officially closed. The Cowboys are left to evaluate their habits. Control versus trust is now the central tension. This decision leans toward trust, at least for the moment. Granting freedom does not guarantee progress, but it removes a familiar excuse. There will be no inherited limitations to blame, no legacy staffing to protect. This defense will be shaped intentionally. That creates sharper evaluation internally. It also raises expectations externally. Dallas rarely embraces that risk. Whether this becomes a lasting shift remains uncertain. The Cowboys have flirted with change before. They have also retreated quickly. This could be an exception, or it could be a turning point. What matters now is the direction. What once defined Dallas no longer fully applies. And that alone makes this offseason different.